Hi, it's nice to meet you on the path. Today's episode is called Buddha's Moon and Rivers. So what I'm referring to, as a lot of you probably already understand the references, you'd say like for Zen meditation, other kinds of meditation too, I suppose, but you think of like your mind as the moon's reflection on the river, and the river's current is flowing like the thoughts. So all these thoughts coming, going, coming, going, but the moon's reflection is in the same spot. So that's being able to concentrate and let the thoughts pass by without latching on to them. It's I'm gonna need to check my. Sorry, I just realized I need to check my. I think I'm okay. Sorry. Um, I was trying to make sure my volume was going to be okay, but I'll just trust that it's okay. When we scroll through our Facebook feeds or scroll through the rest of our lives, we tend to latch on to different things like, oh, this made me mad. And then you follow that path, the path that made you mad. And so you might be typing out something to somebody who is more or less an argument algorithm on Facebook. You don't know the person. It's just somebody popped up and said something that knocked over the first domino um, to ignite your, or the last domino to ignite your indignation, like the buildup of all these little things, and then you lash out. So what Zen meditation does, and I'll move on from Zen meditation, I'm not exactly certain where all I'm going to be going with this. I'm exploring my own thoughts as well, my own circumstances, but I think it'll make sense in some way. uh, so when you learn to sit in meditation, like right now, I hear a truck going by, so I'm trying to record a podcast. I'm pretty sure my microphone's not gonna. I have a pretty nice microphone that's supposed to block out stuff, and it's supposed to be focused in my direction. And but if you hear that, that's what that is. So I'm not mad about that, but I could be. I just noticed it. Okay. So what happens when you learn to sit in meditation, and then when the dog barks, the kid makes noise, the guy starts his lawnmower, you have your Palo Santo lit, and the lights are dim, you have your nice yoga mat that you've taken many a inner journey on, salt lamps on, house to yourself, and you sit down to meditate, and then the jerk next door starts mowing his lawn. Do you have a physical reaction to that? So do you just notice it and it's okay? Or is it kind of funny? Do you see the humor in taking all this preparation to relax and have this nice tranquil experience, and then the guy starts mowing his lawn? Do you find that funny, or are you furious? Because there's people that will become furious and there's people who will think it's funny. In the same world, you don't need to wait for some big revolution to happen. You don't need the whole world to change to have the life that you would like to have within reason, right? Because right now, there is somebody complaining about what someone else would be grateful for. Right now. Not like maybe when we get through this crisis, we'll come out of our quarantine and the world will be a better place. What? What are you talking about? Does that make any sense at all? Maybe it does. I'm not saying it doesn't. Because people are saying that, which means they're having this experience of, oh, I realize I don't have to be on the go all the time. I realize my boss realized I can work from home, which means I don't have to send my kids to that school they don't like, or I don't have to wake up extra early to work in another job to get home, to get them to school, to go to another job, and then when they get home, all this like the chaos of everyday life. And so maybe this situation, yeah, it's going to be horrible for some people, and for some people it's like, yeah, it's actually working out pretty good, this little string of circumstances. Of course we don't want people to be unhealthy or have, but it's like, oh, actually things got a little bit more convenient. I can just wake up in the morning and flip on the laptop and have my coffee with my salt lamp over there and my Palo Santo burning. I can have this tranquil experience while I'm working on the computer. That could have existed before. And I'm not just talking about your boss could have let you work from home, but you could have taken that mindset to work. So I have a gym. Nobody's going there right now. I have a partner at the gym. He's good sticking with me for at least a couple more months, and which I'm grateful for that, because he's not on the lease. I'm the only one on the lease, and he's not obligated for anything. He's just doing it. Well, it benefits him because he has that spot to land on, and it benefits me because uh, he's sharing the rent, and um, so we're both getting benefit out of it. But it's unknown for me. I'll get to my other point in a minute. If it seems like I veered off, I know I did. So there's a lot of chaos. I always have several things going, or try to have a few things going to be diversified in how my money is coming in. So my gym is making $0, except my buddy splitting the rent with me. So in a way it is. But my clients I was seeing at the gym, I'm now seeing online. So um, I'm still making enough money from training to pay for the gym. So I've taken a bit of a hit from some people not coming in. Um, but I'm okay for now. If it turns out that maybe my clients just like working out at home better and doing the Zoom meetings like we're doing now, then maybe I'll turn my gym into an eBay warehouse, because I also sell stuff on eBay. And right now, literally from uh, my chair here, I'm sitting in my, like I have a kind of a small apartment. My kitchen and in my living room, the divider is the couch. So if there wasn't the table, then it wouldn't be, or the dining room or whatever. It's basically a kitchen table in this in the biggest room in my house. And I have a bedroom, one bedroom, and kitchen, and a couple tiny closets, and I guess it's a pretty good sized closet. But anyways, literally from my chair where I'm sitting, which is about as far to it's the east part of my apartment. I can almost reach over and touch the wall right now. I'm like 2.5 feet away, 3 feet away from my east wall. I can reach over. I'm tapping a box full of books that I have listed for sale on eBay. This is a tote full of books that I'm tapping on. I'm reaching right now. Right next to that is a box of shipping boxes. There's a little bit of a space where I have my incense burning and my sage was burning. My sage is probably burned out by now. And then there's a tote full of shoes, and then there's a box of records, and another box of records, and then more shipping supplies, and then the bag of stuff that I have to take to the post office tomorrow. And that's where my front door is, my main door. So look, my apartment, more of the story, my apartment is closing in on me with eBay stuff. Is that a bad thing? No, it's not. Stuff is selling. It's going pretty well. I can't complain about selling stuff on eBay. So, but I could be, right? And so I hope I'm making sense here. I'm not just trying to describe my apartment to you. I'm trying to describe what goes on in my mind. And so, yeah, sometimes I do feel like I'm a little bit closed in. This table is kind of a mess. I can either focus on the mess or not. I can focus on this line of boxes that leads down my hallway, which takes up about a third of my hallway, or not. Now, there's some people that are mad about almost everything that they see, right? You can probably guess that person who was complaining on Facebook yesterday, they're probably complaining on Facebook today. The person that was posting inspirational stuff yesterday, they're probably posting inspirational stuff today. They're not waiting for this quarantine to be over for us to leave our houses and the world become a better place. They're not waiting for that. It already is. They're already there. So I also have what I call my job. So it takes me about 25 minutes to drive to work. And my alarm goes off at 5:10 a.m. I'm not a huge fan of waking up early, but it's okay. The job's pretty chill. I use lasers to cut wood, basically. It's a die shop, and I use like some saws and some grinders and sanders, razors, and various shop tools. And so on my way, there's bumps in the road. So I wake up at 5:10. I hit the snooze. I'm like, oh my God, it's early morning again. I probably won't go to sleep at midnight. I'll probably go to sleep again midnight. Alarm goes off at 5:10, and I'm going to be not super happy about that, but not like too disappointed. I'm grateful for my job. So do I want to wake up at 5:10? No. Do I want to wake up at 5:10? Yes, because I need to go to my job. So if I'm running late, all the red lights are out to get me. If I'm running late, of course there's cops all around and I can't drive over the speed limit. Isn't that frustrating? And those bumps in the road, let me tell you about all the potholes and the bumps. And they fill in the pothole and it makes a bump. Or, well, let me tell you about the smooth places, because really it's not mostly bumps, it's mostly smooth. the same ride to work, the same ride to work. I can either tell you about all the potholes, or I can tell you about the parts that are pretty, um, that are really nice to drive on. And that's the way life is. Yeah, there's potholes, and sometimes when you feel the pothole, it just turns into a bump. And, but this the smooth part of our life, the smooth part of our road, sometimes we just act as if it's barely worth mentioning. As my jiu-jitsu Zen teacher would say, it's easy to be peaceful when no one's bothering you. So if you've set the mood with your salt lamp and your Palo Santo and your sage and your whatever else kind of ritual stuff you have to do before you meditate, and then the guy starts mowing his lawn, I hope you can just find the humor in that. So the Facebook feeds. So I see a lot of well, I started a Facebook group called Live Home Workout Community. I started it this past Friday. Today is Tuesday, so it's I started Friday like at 1:30 p.m. And so it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, 5 days. Is that 5 days? And we have 270 members. Just clicked to 271 when I checked just a little bit ago. And it's off to a really good start. So the anywhere in the world you can join this. Okay, and there's instructors, strength coaches, any kind of like personal trainers, fitness trainers, um, yoga teachers, martial art instructors. If you're an instructor, if you know what you're doing, you can go live on the group page and you can share your PayPal, Venmo. I'm encouraging the instructors to make sure their Facebook Messenger is set up to accept and give payments. And so we've had several people post now, and I've talked to several other instructors asking them if they would do a class. If they were interested in doing classes on there, they all said yes, and they're preparing to do so. And I was hoping to kind of sort of like start it and then kind of like take a back seat and just kind of let it happen. But it got off to such a good start, and I thought I would go ahead and go live with a strength lesson. And for the most part, everybody is positive. It had a good amount of views, especially for as like new the group is, and a good amount of likes. And I get a call from my friend the next day, and she tells me that somebody left this nasty comment on the post, and like, okay, I was just waking up, and so I'm absorbing what she's telling me, and she's like bothered by it. She's like had her ass kicking boots on and was was ready to, you know, track down this violator of me. And it's good to have overprotective friends. I'm an overprotective friend too. So I get on there while she's, I think that while she was even still on the phone. Like I said, I was just waking up when she called, and she said that she was almost about to rip into the person, but she didn't. And like the comment was something like, "What a lame start! You started all out fiddling around with the camera." Because what happened was I had the video set up using my laptop, but then when I hit record, like to go live, the screen narrowed, and so then I couldn't like scoot back anymore, so I had to make some adjustments, and yeah, it could have been a little bit more smooth. And I was looking, it was my first time going live, so I'm 100% confident in my strength coaching. I've been doing it forever, but yeah, there was a couple little hiccups, and so I'm like watching it as it goes live, like, okay, I think I got it figured out. This will be good enough for today. And I was like, if somebody could just hit like or comment to let me know that you can see and you can hear me okay. And so this person commenting was saying like, oh, what a lame start. You were fiddling with the camera, and then you were asking for likes, and then you didn't offer a lick of content. Like, what? Like, yeah, I did. I was fiddling with the camera a little bit because the view changed when it started. And yeah, I did ask for people to hit like, but not like, oh, please hit like. It was just like, just let me know that this thing's working. Uh, and then, or like comment, because I couldn't see, I can't see when people hit like. I can only see if people comment. I don't know how. I'm like figuring this thing out. It's the first time. And so it took me a couple minutes to get that going, and I got right into what I was talking about and demonstrating. And I offered a ton of content. That hour or however long it lasted has a lot of information for strength training for martial arts. So what I did was I just blocked the person. And then I ended up clicking on her page. I saw everything is negative. So I just unfriended her also. So the reason I blocked, I didn't respond. I mean, you can like, if you start a group, you can like put people in like a 30-day timeout and this kind of stuff. It's like, nope, done. Because I wasn't particularly offended myself. In a way, there was a point. Yeah, maybe I should have had this video thing figured out, but in another way, it's not that big of a deal, right? And the content thing is just not true. There's a ton of content, and I'd say it's pretty advanced. But anyways, while I wasn't so offended myself, what I didn't want was for that person to comment on another instructor's post. Anything negative, because scrolling down her Facebook, there's nothing positive on her Facebook feed. So the main priority for this group has to be the instructors. I want high-level instructors to be able to like find a home here, because that's what will help attract the most people, and also people that will pay the instructors. And we're talking to, like I talked to, if you listen to the show, you may have heard Emmanuel Apentis on the show a couple times. She has a lot of experience teaching yoga, competitive bodybuilder and fitness competitor. She really knows her stuff. And so I asked her to do a video. She did. But while I would have had the same response if somebody left that kind of message to her, as my friend did, calling me like, you need to do something before I do. Like, not that I would want an instructor to have to like deal with it. So I just blocked the person because that was, yeah, it's so do I. I'm not beyond critique. If another instructor gets on and says a bunch of stuff that is not what I'm teaching, it contradicts what I'm teaching, fine. I don't care. That's perfectly cool. I'm going to contradict some stuff because depending on your goals and even other factors, the strength, fitness, martial arts, there's not a lot of absolutes. So if I'm saying one thing and another pretty high level instructor is saying something else, chances are we probably don't necessarily disagree with each other. It's they're talking about this part of the world and I'm just talking about this other part of the world. And I might be talking about their part of the world and saying that kind of stuff at another time. So I'm perfectly cool with people contradicting what I say, but I don't want people to contradict another instructor using their name. Like, oh, this instructor said this. That's not true. That's not going to fly either. Zero tolerance for that. And because I want this group to be a real community where people engage with each other, and the people taking the classes can get to know the people teaching the classes, and the instructors take each other's classes, and that's what's already starting to happen. So hopefully I'm not digressing too much. It's all has to do with the Buddha's moons and rivers, right? What are you going to focus on? Because I could have, it's in the realm of possibility that instead of just hitting block, unfriending, moving on, I could have been like, well, you know what? I'm a really good trainer. I've been training for 20 years, blah, 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 blah. And you're dumb. And, you could have just like, and then it's what you see it so often, right? And I can't say that I haven't been pulled into that. And sometimes, to me, I had a friend who may be listening. I've never met her. I can't say that I've actually ever met her, but we have mutual friends and we have communicated. I'll just say that much. And she posted something and said something like she's not looking for a debate, but she posted a kind of a snarky political comment. We'll just say that. And and so my response to that was just like, here's a factual thing. This is something that's not. And she's like, she didn't want to debate. So I think she was just like, she even said, yeah, I want to just post a snarky comment and leave it out there. Like, just let this thing out. Fine. It's her page. She can do whatever she wants. But to me, I'm not in that mode. I'm thinking, oh, I'll just post this fact, because if you have this fact that can be proven, then that comment that you made doesn't really make sense. So if you have like this isn't how I worded it, but I was like, oh, did you consider? I was like this, and I said like, there's also this, and then whatever, I don't even remember exactly what it was. So then I'm like matching this like snarky kind of comment. And I'm not trying to make that as like insulting, or maybe it sounds like it is. Um, she seems like a really cool person who I was planning on meeting sometime and doing something with, but and still would. But snarky is an important word because for the situation I was seeing, like all this like snarkiness on Facebook, and how it's never productive. Jokes are fine. I'm perfectly cool with people making almost any kind of joke, right? This wasn't that. It was about the unemployment rate, like Trump's unemployment rate. And so it's like all this stuff is going on, and that's the view she's taken. She's looking at like the unemployment rate. This is somehow Trump's fault. Like, um, and maybe you can have reasons why you think it is. Fine, that's not the point. But I might present like this fact. Like she's posting an opinion, and I'm posting something that's like a proven fact. And it starts out like she responds in I think a very reasonable way, but somebody else chimes in who I do not know, I've never communicated with, and he's like this, like being, he's like arguing about something that I'm not even talking about, but like being like forceful and insulting and stuff. And so I'm thinking, I'm not even going to engage with this guy. But then the whole thing just kind of like devolves, and it gets, and in my mind, okay, it's hard. I can understand maybe when somebody's reading what I'm typing, they might be, if they're in a snarky kind of mood, they're reading my post that I'm like, in my mind, I'm thinking I'm putting something out rationally. In their mind, they're reading it like it's this other like snarky thing, and then it devolves, and then like it just got like worse and worse. And I don't think I'm typing anything insulting. I'm not insulting her views. I'm just like, oh, like, well, here's this. Did you see this? Or, um, but then she said something like, I said at the beginning that I didn't want to debate. I'm thinking, I'm not like even debating anything. I'm like, to me, it's not even a debate. Um, but she said, you're not going to change my mind about my views, but you made me change my mind about you. Like, what? In my mind, that makes no sense whatsoever. I could have like a rational conversation with her. I don't have to agree with my friends about everything. That would be really weird. And I wouldn't want my friends to like not tell me what they really think, to just agree with me. It's to me that doesn't make any sense. I mean, like we're yelling at each other. It's like, oh, this is what I think. This is kind of like where I am now. What do you think? Oh, that's interesting. It's like, I'm a vegan, but I have more friends that are hunters than vegans. There's nothing to argue about. Um, I can't say that I know about more about animals than they do. I can't say that I understand like the way animals are, and I can't say that I understand the earth and the cruelty. But when she said that, like it changed her view of me. I'm like, because to me, like her and I were having a pretty reasonable discussion, and then this other guy is like throwing rocks while we're just having a chat. At least this is what's going on in my mind. And so I was like, okay, I don't want to keep checking my Facebook. Oh, I wonder what somebody said now. What do I need to... So I was like, okay, delete. I deleted my comment, which deleted all of their comments. I didn't unfriend her. There's no reason. I don't think there's any reason to. But so as I thought about it, and because we should like reflect. Okay, was I being, when I'm like presenting facts in my mind, am I being kind of like smug about it? Like, I know this stuff and you don't know that. So your point of view is not as wise as mine. Am I being like that? There might be a little bit of that. There might be a little bit of that. I have to admit. But I like to think I'm pretty open to the way other people think. But to say that I present myself as my ideal all the time, I I don't. I think I do pretty well for the most part, but you know, we all fall short. I want to read something. I had a really good conversation with someone yesterday, and I um sorry, I'm looking for this post I did. I want to read something to you. Sorry. Oh, here we go. Um, Facebook friend Pavel Macek, he shared um, this thing, "What It Means to Believe" by Dr. Jordan B. Peterson, who I have a ton of respect for. I really try to push my thinking, learn how to think better through his books, and he has a ton of videos online. Um, he has a book called The 12 Rules for Life. I've listened to the audio twice. I'll probably listen again. He has another book, Maps of Meaning, which I've listened to. It's like a 30-hour listen. I've listened to it once, and then I'm about, I think, 11 hours into the second time through that. And I've listened to, I'd say, easily 100 hours of him, his talks, university lectures, debates, podcasts. I listened to tons of it. But I liked this. So, What It Means to Believe by Dr. Jordan Peterson, the best definition I have ever heard. That's what Pavel says. Well, people ask me if I believe in God. I'm going to release a podcast about that because I answered that question for about 2 hours in Australia because people kept asking me that question, which I don't really like. I don't like that question, and so I sat and thought about it for a good while, and I tried to figure out why. And then I thought, well, you believe, I thought, who would have the audacity to claim that they believed in God if they examined the way they lived? Who would dare say that? To believe, you think, to believe in a Christian sense, this is why Nietzsche said there was only ever one Christian, and that was Christ. To have the audacity to claim that means you live it out fully, and that's an unbearable task in some sense. I just debated Slavoj Zizek. I'll spell that Slavoj Zizek, and those like Z's have like accents at the top. About a week ago, although it wasn't really much of a debate. It was a strange event, but he said something very brilliant, and to me, that justified the entire event, at least from my perspective. He talked about Christ's moment of crisis on the cross when he cried out to God that he had been forsaken. And what Zizek said was, what that meant. Sorry. He talked about Christ's moment of crisis on the cross when he cried out to God that he had been forsaken. And what Zizek said was that what that meant was that the conditions of human existence are so tragic that even God himself in human form lost faith for a moment in the goodness of being. And I thought that was a remarkable observation because, well, if God himself will lose faith under such conditions, what would you expect from normal human beings confronted with what we're confronted by? That's brilliant, right? To be able to accept the structure of existence, the suffering that goes along with it, and the disappointment and the betrayal, and to nonetheless act properly, right? To aim at the good with all your heart, right? To dispense with the malevolence and your desire for destruction and revenge and all of that, and to face things courageously and to tell the truth, to speak the truth and act it out. That's what it means to believe. That's what it means. It doesn't mean to state it. It means to act it out. And unless you act it out, you should be very careful about claiming it. And so I've never been comfortable saying anything other than I try to act as if God exists, because God only knows what you'd be if you truly believed. I mean, if you think about it in some sense, that's what the central idea in Christianity is, that you were capable of believing, is that if you were capable of believing, it would be a transfiguring event, a truly transfiguring event. And I know people experience that to one degree or another, but we have no idea what the limit of that is. So we have no idea what the possibility is within each person if they lived a life that was maximally courageous and maximally truthful. Maybe because maybe you're running at 60% or 70 or 20% and at cross purposes to yourself. God only knows what you'd be if you believed. And so, well, I try to act as like I believe, but I'd never claim that I manage it, because it's a lot to manage properly. And you have to be careful about claiming to manage things that you can't manage. And so that's part of the answer to that question. Isn't that amazing? So when they say like the Tao that can be spoken of is not the true Tao. And so I think what almost every time we say something, we're not going to be accurate. Okay, so if you just say, I'm hungry, are you? Because you haven't eaten for 5 hours, or you haven't eaten for 5 days. And 5 days ago, you had a spoonful of slop made with dirty river water. Are you hungry? Are you hungry? Are you sure you're hungry? Or would you just like something to eat? I don't say that I'm hungry. I just don't say that. When we're interacting with somebody and I guess we have to, I think for, we have to be like, in a way we need to be more sensitive, and in another way less sensitive. And we need to be more accepting, be able to like let things go, scroll past the political comment that you don't like, Just scroll past it. Is that possible? Because you don't need to wait for the world to change around you. Right? And it's like sometimes we are so I think it has to do with wanting to be sure about things that we can't really be sure about. It's like we're, so let's say you're you say you're a Republican, or that you're a liberal, or that you're a Christian, like we were just talking about with Jordan Peterson. Say you're a Christian or a Buddhist. Do you act like it? So if it gets pretty complicated, right? But how are people perceiving you? Part of it is your responsibility, part of it is theirs, and a lot of it is just know that something's going to get lost in translation. People are not going to be ready to hear what you have to say. I can have a political conversation and not get mad. I think it'd be very strange if somebody had all the same ideas that I have, which are different than what I had however many years ago, and hopefully in a year I'll have more advanced thinking and be able to look back at where I am now as a little less advanced. I don't know which way I'll be going, what more advanced looks like, but as I think Jordan Peterson is a good example of, like, to dig into the thinking, to really think, and not just adopt somebody else's thoughts because we're just on their team and, man, we hope they're right. If you're an atheist, man, I guess you're just you're really hoping you're right about that. And if you're some particular form of Christianity, I guess you're really hoping you're right about that too, right? It's all about what we look at. You can pretty much live in the world that you want to live in. You can find that freedom in a prison, right? I see people losing their jobs. A lot of my friends are strength coaches, martial art instructors, yoga teachers. And it might have seemed like they were very well diversified. They're a strength coach over at this gym. They're a yoga teacher over at that gym. They do personal training over there. They do this over there. And so they might have what looks like a very diversified way of making money. That over there, it's not going real well right now, but that over there is picking up. That's cool. Now that's kind of slacking off, but this over here is picking up. And so there's always like this balance of things. And then with this, all the gyms closing, what seemed to be pretty well diversified all of a sudden is not. I just saw a Facebook friend. I think she erased the post. but she was saying how she'd been working since she was 15 years old. She's like 30 something now. Yeah, married, kids. She said she's been working this whole time, and she never thought she'd be in line at a food pantry and on the phone seeing if her food stamps kicked in yet. I started to type out a message in the comments. And my message was going to be an invitation to join the live home workout community. Her husband's a trainer. I don't think I've never met him, but he's like a friend of a friend. So to me, it's like, even though we've never met, I still consider him like a friend, even though we've actually never seen each other in person, and haven't communicated online just a little bit. But for some reason, he's in my consciousness somewhere. And I started to leave a comment. Oh, hey, join. I can't guarantee anything. It does, but they could join, start teaching classes, and share their payment information. And I'm not trying to save their gym. I'm not, I don't have a way to like, okay, how can I keep that gym open? It's not, I don't want to say too much. I don't want to say who I'm talking about, but hell, you wouldn't be able to figure it out anyway, because everybody's in this position. So, I don't know if she's a trainer at the gym or more like into sales and stuff. She might be a trainer, but her husband's a trainer. I don't know if it's at the same gym, but regardless, I started to comment on hers, and then I decided not to. And I think I think it looks like maybe she erased the thing, because it said like you can't comment on the thing, like, or there's error or something. And then so I clicked on her husband's page, and I was going to send him a message inviting him. And I see that he saw my message before where I invited him to the live home workout community group page. At the time that I sent it, it had 130 members. Now it's at 270, over 270. And that's just been a couple days. And we're encouraging people. I know I might be kind of like all over the place, but I hope you like get what I'm talking about. Like Buddhas, moons, and rivers. Okay, so these rivers, the Buddha is our ideal way of being. The moon is the concentration, the proper concentration, and the river is the thoughts that are passing by. So and the ones, especially the ones that are not going to be helpful for us, you're just concentrating on where you are at the moment. What can you do right now? Makes sense. So you don't start telling yourself a story. Oh, I'm in this situation and this stuff. So, but I saw that he already got the message, and so I was going to type it out, and I didn't. But what I'm doing is, I kind of went back and forth, and I talked to another instructor on there. It's like, does it sound weird to just suggest $1 payments for these live video chat or live video workouts? And so my idea was, okay, if people don't, a lot of people are in tough times, so maybe if they would normally go to a class and spend $15 or $20 at their yoga class, and now they don't feel like first of all, they don't have the class to go to, and maybe they don't have the $20 to go. Do you have $1? Can you spare $1? Great. If you have 50 people all over the world that could not spare $15 at the moment, but they can give $1, then that instructor gets paid a decent amount for that class. And so that's my idea. Since where before it would be like, okay, I'm taking donations to my class. Like, okay, here's $1. Like, what? $1? Are you? That would be kind of insulting. And so what I did, like Emanuela did a class, and in my area, yoga classes, like drop-in classes, are usually around like $17. And so if she was having a class around here, I wouldn't think twice about paying $17-20 to go to one of her classes. It would be perfectly normal. Or private sessions might be $75-100 an hour. I charge $70 an hour. So if she's doing something like the same, I would consider that just perfectly normal to pay that amount. So to offer her $1 seems just like gross, like cheap and insulting. But that's a problem now, because it's not. Okay. Because and I talked to her about it too, because I'm presenting this to the group. So like, does it sound weird? Does it sound like, because I would feel terrible. Like if she was having a donation class and I was just going to her class, I would probably just do it $20 or something, like, depending on what it was. If it was like a regular hour-long yoga class for donate, like $20, whatever, and then like if it's a workshop or something, 50. It depends on whatever, but those kind of prices seem really normal to me. So to give $1 seems like it would be insulting her. But so what I did was, she agreed that it's not, and that it's good to encourage that. So I sent her $1, which is $1.33, $1.34 Canadian. And then I posted in the group, like, I followed along with her class and I sent her $1. And that's what we're encouraging. Of course, if people can do more, if you can do more, great. But the whole idea is I sent her $1. So do not feel bad about sending just $1. And my idea is to help make a place. And I'm asking other trainers for help. I'm getting advice from people who know me, who I respect. Um, uh, so because I'm trying to like think through this whole thing. It's new. I want to make sure it's presented in a way where high level instructors can all be in one place, more or less, and do a live workout and get a decent payment for it. It doesn't seem crazy to me. And so the idea is to have something invested. And even if, so I hope you would join, if you can listen to this and join the group, live home workout community, join. Even if you hit like, if like, I can't even spare $1. Okay. Like the friend of mine who I was talking about, whose wife was in line at the food pantry. Okay. Don't worry about the $1. Okay. But I'm not in that position myself. Here's $1. And so I made a deal. I'll give $1 to everyone who goes live on the page. Okay. There may be a point when it grows, if it grows like too big, where that's not very feasible, but um, for the foreseeable future, I'll give $1 to everybody that goes live. And I'm not like, look at me, I'm giving everybody $1. Isn't that wonderful of me? It's more like, it, other people can do that and not feel bad. That's the whole point. I really hope people can understand my intent. Emanuela seemed like she really did. And but to have a community where people help each other out. And so when she does her class, I'm not in I'm not competition with her. So yeah, I'm going live, she's going live, somebody else is going live. But when she went live, I hosted a watch party as I followed along. I want her to do well with it. And then other people who I don't know, which is really cool too, because people that I don't personally know have said that are going to start doing the classes on there, which is great, because I asked people that I do know that know me, know how I am. They all agreed. I mean, everybody has agreed. And but man, if we could just host watch parties on the Facebook Live. So it's like, yeah, I give $1, I host a watch party, and then two people that didn't know about her, like, oh, cool, yeah, I'm gonna watch that, and oh yeah, she's good. And then they click watch party, and then it branches out. We can cover the whole world, with some exceptions, of course. But if we do that, the people at home that can no longer afford to go to a gym to work with a trainer can work with a trainer. And if you have $1, or if you leave a comment, maybe that trainer will end up having like some kind of dialogue with you, or like, which starts to build the community. So we don't have to wait for that. The gym business, like a lot of other, I know that, like the gym business, a lot of my friends are trainers, and so when I think about businesses having problems, I'm thinking about my friends. I have a lot of friends that work for themselves. And that's how this idea started. Was I have a local group of trainers, a Facebook group. If you're in the Indianapolis area only, if you're only in the Indianapolis area, um, it's called Indie Strength and Movement Community. It's good to join that one too. But if you don't live somewhere around Indianapolis, that one's not for you. Join Live Home Workout Community. Okay. And even if you're in the Indie Strength and Movement community, still join the Live Home Workout community. But it started out as an idea. I was like, okay, I have a lot of friends that are in trouble, and a lot of them are pivoting well. And like, I talked to one friend, and yeah, gym's closed. He said, but their yoga class, which is now online, has more people than ever. Okay, cool. And I don't want to get too specific so you would know who he was. Let's just say he's in the martial arts world also, and he's doing that stuff online, but I'm sure he's taking a hit. And so I'm thinking about, like, what can I do with my friends? So I was like, okay, we can go live and we can host watch parties for each other. And I was talking about this other group who I actually modeled live home workout community off of. It's called Live from Home Open Stage. It's a Facebook group for musicians because they're all out of work too. You can't play gigs anywhere. So you have musicians from all over the place. And it might be people that were making their living with music, making part of their living with music. It might be somebody that just likes to play guitar and sing around the house for his buddies or whatever. 12-year-old kids, everybody. They can get on there. They might play one song. There might be a whole concert. And this group grew, and they share their PayPal info, some of them, and the Venmo, all that. And this group grew to has over 50,000 people in it now, and I think it's like a month old. That's really cool. So that's how I modeled the live home workout communities. After that, like, cool, we can have instructors as long as you know what you're doing. Go live on the group page and share your payment information. Really simple. But what started off as what I thought I could do for local friends, I thought, well, let's just do it for the whole world, and we'll see what happens. I'm looking forward to it being successful, and with the instructors that are coming on, I don't see how it can't be. It's pretty amazing. I hope I'm making sense, and that you're seeing like the deeper meaning of what I'm talking about, the Buddhas, moons, and rivers. Because when we get out of this mess with the corona thing, I don't know when you're going to be listening to this. A lot of people listen a year. I've been doing the podcast for 2 years, so over 2 years, and people are still listening to the early ones. So I don't know when you're chiming in, but we're dealing with the coronavirus and the lockdowns right now. Today is April 14th. Yeah. And 10:45 p.m. So after this, there's going to be something else. There'll be another bump in the road, be smooth parts, and no, it'll be so much of how you make it. And I hope that the people that are seeing how good things can be with their new way of thinking, which isn't really new to a lot of people, it's just new to them, that they can really do something with it. And so yeah, I think I'm going to start to wrap it up here. This show is a bit different than what I had planned. I didn't really have anything written out. I had these different things I knew I wanted to talk about, and I hope I was not rambling on too much in the wrong directions. I hope people are following. But I think Buddha's, moons, and rivers, and don't let yourself get taken down the river of these negative thoughts and these, like, man, that drive to work sure is bumpy. Well, it's mostly not bumpy, really. But you can focus on the bumps, you can focus on the smooth parts, but like focus on the moment and what you can do now, and how can you pull people together, and not just like pull people together, but and not that I have this thing all figured out. That's why I'm asking for help. with other people that I respect, people that know me, and people that I respect, like getting kind of advice, getting some not kind of getting advice on how to go about this, how to present this thing, this opportunity. It's about creating a space for what you want to happen, instead of saying somebody else needs to do this. If you're thinking somebody else needs to create something, you do it. Do what you can. It's like the Buddha, right? But even I wouldn't call myself a Christian. Never have, even before I read that Jordan Peterson thing. But I thought it was pretty interesting. Like even God Himself in human form lost faith in the humanity. How was that put? It was just brilliantly put. But there's nothing wrong with getting dragged down the river a little bit. Those currents get big, it starts washing, the troubles start coming by ones and twos, and slam you up against a rock, and you grab onto a branch and pull yourself off to the side a little bit, get your focus, do what you can do. Thanks for tuning in. I hope it was worth it for you. Thanks, and join Live Home Workout Community.